champions, wishing you all a very, very, very happy new year. I hope this year brings the best out of you. Everything good reaches you really, really fast. You be happy, you be healthy, and everything nice. And I also want to say something. That is, this is the last chapter of biology from 12th grade. So big kudos to you, my dear children. If you think that this series helped you, definitely do not forget to let us know in the comment section. We'll be really, really happy. The other day I saw a comment now from Nagendra or someone like that. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting your name, but it meant a lot to me. You said that your marks were really good in biology. That means a lot, and it's just not just because of me, it's because of your efforts. Okay, with whatever efforts I am making this video, and with the same efforts, if you are also studying, then that means it is going to be double bonanza, right? So that's a really good thing, my dear children. And now I'll go ahead, I won't bore you all. Over here, this chapter holds 4 marks. So according to blueprint 1, there will be two 2-marker question. There will be 2 1-marker question, and there will be 1 2-marker question, making it a total of 4 marks. Okay, similarly here also, according to blueprint 2, same thing is happening. According to blueprint 3, there will be 1 1-marker and there will be 1 3-marker question. So we have to be prepared for 1-marker, 2-marker and 3-marker questions coming from this particular chapter. There won't be any 5-marker question because obviously you know the chapter itself gives you 4 marks. So obviously there cannot be any 5-marker question. So do not put your brains into writing big answers for this particular chapter. Okay. Now, I hope you all know that there is a PU2 Success Blueprint test series happening, and if you have not joined it, definitely join it. There's a coupon code that you can apply, that is JAS100. If you put JAS100, then basically you are going to get flat rupees 100% off. Okay, this is the coupon code. Now, one very important thing, what do you get in this? You get mock test, my dear children. There will be 4 part tests and 8 full length tests. So if you're someone who is looking for a nice coverage of all the syllabus and nice revision and everything, you should be definitely buying this. Yeah. And in today's session, we are going to solve 10 1-marker question, 5 2-marker question and 4 3-marker question. So without further ado, let's just begin. You have to tell me the answers before I do. Deal? Chalo. Which of the following is not an example of in situ conservation? You have to underline not, because you have to search for what is not the example of what? In situ conservation. What do you mean by in situ conservation? In situ conservation means basically, for example, lion, tiger and everything is in this particular area. I am conserving those lions, tigers and everything in that particular area itself. I am making sure that this area is protected. This area is what? Protected. For example, a wildlife sanctuary or a national park and everything like that. Okay. So over here I am protecting the entire area where they are there. I am not taking them outside, putting inside a cage or doing anything like that. They are in their area. So in situ is basically in their area only, they are getting conserved. Okay. Now you have to look for what is not an example of in situ conservation. That is national park and seed bank. National park is an example of in situ conservation, but seed bank is not. Okay. Anyways, national park and just a second. National park and zoological parks. Again, no. Because since national park is there, I won't say it is entirely wrong. Okay, now next, seed bank and sacred groves. Seed bank and sacred groves. Sacred groves is an example of in situ conservation, but seed bank is not. Okay, now next, seed bank and botanical gardens. Both of them, if you see, they both are ex situ conservation. Okay, seed bank is basically I am preserving the seeds and everything. Again, it's not in the localized area. I'm putting it in at my own area, right? Now, botanical gardens also, where I am taking the plants, I'm growing them up here. Okay, they are not in their area. I am growing them in some other area. I just want to preserve them. That is there. So this becomes an example of ex situ conservation. Okay, ex situ conservation. So over here, national park and what? Sacred grove. All the examples that you see is actually in situ conservation, but seed bank, zoological park, seed bank, again it is not an example. And the most correct option is this one, because both these are wrong. They are not in situ conservation method. Cool. Now next thing, an example for ex situ conservation. Now you know the answer. National park I'm preserving them in their own habitat. Sacred groves, again, sacred groves is basically, for example, I have an area which has some ethical or religious, importance. So I am preserving that area. But while I am doing so, I am also preserving the organisms who are staying there. So that is what you mean by sacred groves, my dear children. So national parks, sacred groves, biosphere reserves, that is also example of what? In situ conservation. All of them, they are in situ conservation, my dear children. When you talk about zoological park, what do you mean by zoological park? Zoo. In zoo, we are taking animals from different areas and putting them here so that they are preserved. Okay, so that they are preserved. Now, this is an example of what? Ex situ conservation. I am not conserving them in their own habitat, I am putting them elsewhere, but I am still conserving, which is why it is known as ex situ conservation. Got it? Who all are getting things correct. Now this question is interesting. The graph given below shows species area relationship. Okay, so this side of the graph talks about species richness, and this side of the graph talks about the area. So according to the person who identified it, he said that basically if you look onto the area, whenever the area increases, that's when you notice that the species richness also increases. For example, I am staying over here in a gallery area. So I have the birds and everything that is coming there. Okay, now I expand this area. I go to a park and see birds over there. I will be seeing more birds over there. Now I go to somewhere else which has more area. I will be seeing more birds, more animals over there. So you see, species richness is basically increasing when you move to bigger area. But according to this graph, it says that it's not like if the area is way too big, okay, the species richness will also become way too big. It's not like that. There is a time where things will be constant, where there won't be any more increase in the species richness. That is what is denoted over here. Okay, so they have mentioned S is directly proportional to what? A, where S stands for species richness and A stands for area, my dear children. Now, this proportionality sign, when you want to make it into constant, how do you do it? How do you say? You put this. So this has become the constant over here. Okay, so this is the equation for this particular curve that you see. S is equals to CA Z. Cool. Now, if you are making a log out of it, if you want to have log, if you explain it in the form of log, it will be log S is equals to log C plus the Z will come forward and it will be log A. But the log one, it is not a curved line. It will be shown in the form of a straight line, my dear children. So since they have mentioned a curved line, this curved line stands for S is equals to CAZ. Okay, if it was straight line, it would have been this. Okay, then your answer might have been this. So, but since it is curved line, you're talking about curved line, you're talking about this. Okay, now this is the one that is given in your NCERT textbook. S is equals to CAZ. Over here, this is the thing. Cool, cool, cool. Next question. The given pie diagram represents the proportionate number of species of major taxa of vertebrates. Identify group A and B. So it shows that how many organisms are there, okay, in each category. In each, for example, here they have mentioned that these many number of mammals are there, these many number of amphibians are there. Now there is a chart, pie chart over here, where they are saying this many amount of things are there which belongs to taxa A. Then there is something which belongs to taxa B. So you see there's a huge number. And always remember, in the case of vertebrates, the organism that has the vertebral column, okay, so basically in them, the majority of them, okay, majority of them is what? Fishes, my dear children. Okay, we have lots and lots of fishes, okay, and then comes B. What is B, my dear children? B is for birds. B is basically for birds over here. So A stands for fishes and then comes B, which is birds, and then comes mammals, you have amphibians and you have reptiles. So most amount of fishes are there, then you have birds and mammals and everything else. Okay, so according to your NCERT, it looks like this. See, so fishes are these many. If you take a whole chart of vertebrates, in vertebrates there will be lots and lots of fishes, then it's birds, Okay, then it is reptiles, then you have amphibians, and mammals the least. Mammals is the least. Fishes, you know. Mammals as in us, human beings and all, dog, cat and everything. Birds, you know. Reptiles as in snake, lizards and stuff like that. Amphibians as in frogs, salamanders and stuff like that. Okay, so in vertebrate category, when they were doing which organism, when they were checking that which organism has the most amount of population, they came to know that it's the fishes which has it. Okay, there are so many species of fishes which probably we might have not identified as well. So the correct answer for this becomes what? A is fish and B is birds. This is the correct answer. Cool? Chalo. Next question. There are 4 major causes of accelerated rates of species extinction. That means there are 4 very different causes by which the species that you see over here are getting extinct, which are collectively called as evil quartet. Okay, it is known as evil quartet. Quartet as in 4. Which one of the following is not included in the evil quartet? So there are 4 reasons by which species extinction is happening. Now over here there is one reason which is not something that could cause species extinction. Okay, so over exploitation, do you think it will cause species extinction? Over exploitation, for example, over hunting and things like that. Do you think that the species will get extinct because of that? Yes, it might. Okay, yes, it will. There are cases, for example, stellar sea cow. Okay, it was something that was found in sea. Okay, it looked like a cow. Okay, and now this particular organism, basically this particular fish which was there, it was extinct, not fish, okay, but anyways, it was extinct because people hunted it. Okay, people were hunting it very largely, in a very large scale. So over exploitation obviously can lead to what? Species extinction. Co-extinction. What do you mean by co-extinction? For example, there is one organism, that is a plant. Now there is a bee which is totally dependent on this plant for pollen and everything. Now if this guy becomes extinct, obviously this will also become extinct sooner or later. So co-extinction is also something that would lead to what? Species extinction. What about pollution? Pollution is something that causes a huge lot of damage, but it is not something that will directly cause species extinction, my dear children. Okay, it might take a long time to do so if it's ever done. Alien species invasion. For example, species from different areas are coming over here, and when they come over here, they are going to fight with other species. Okay, other species for food, shelter and water, such that they are depriving other organisms of all this thing, and obviously if they are depriving, the other organisms would be dying. Okay, it will become extinct. So alien species invasion is also a very good cause of what? Species extinction. What is not a direct cause of species extinction, children? It is pollution. You want example of alien species invasion? Ecornia. Ecornia was exported to India. Okay, it is known as terror of Bengal. But it spread rapidly, and when it spread rapidly in the aquatic area, what happened? They are like this. I will show you the picture, okay, sooner or later. So they spread like this. So the plants which were there inside the water bodies, they were not able to get the sunlight and things like that. So it became a huge problem. They were depriving other organisms, okay, they were killing other organisms, hence species extinction was being caused. So this is the thing. Cool. So pollution is not one. Can you tell me what is the fourth one? What is the fourth reason for what? For species extinction? Anyone in the comment section or anyone like that? Please come on, cheer up guys. Over here, now select the incorrectly matched pair. Tannins, narrow utilitarian. What do you mean by narrow utilitarian? Basically, there were certain reasons why we are conserving biodiversity. The first reason is narrow utilitarian. That means that human beings are conserving biodiversity because the biodiversity which is there, it is going to help human beings get products, get so many products. The timber that you see, the tannins that is there for industrial products and everything you get from biodiversity, which is why people are going to conserve the biodiversity, or which is why we should be conserving the biodiversity. So tannin is a product that you get, and this is exactly matched with narrow utilitarian principle, according to which human beings are conserving things because they are going to get, or they are getting biological products from the nature. Okay. Now endemism means species which are confined to particular region. They won't be found anywhere else. They are very confined, they are very unique over there. Lungs of the planet, that is Amazon rainforest, that is also correct. There are so many trees and plants which harbors lots of oxygen and stuff like that. That's what we breathe. So it is also correct. Rajasthan, sacred groves that are last refuges for a large number of rare and threatened plants. So in Rajasthan, you definitely find sacred groves. That is for sure. That is for sure. Okay, what do you mean by sacred groves? As I said, there are areas which are being preserved or conserved. Why? Because it has some religious attachment or ethical issues. Okay, so it is just kept like that. But while you're saving that particular area, you're also saving organisms which are there over there. Okay, so in Rajasthan you find sacred groves, but here the thing is Rajasthan the place where sacred groves are the last refuges as in last option to safeguard a lot of rare and threatened plants? Is it so? No. Sacred groves plays a very crucial role in another state, that is Meghalaya, my dear children. There they act like last refuges for large number of rare and threatened plants, and usually children get confused because of this, because they might have not read a line from NCERT which says that in Meghalaya the sacred groves are the last refuges for a large number of rare and threatened plants. Okay, over here you have other names also, Khasi and Jaintia hills in Meghalaya, Aravali hills of Rajasthan, Western Ghat regions of Karnataka and Maharashtra, and the Sarguja, Chanda and Bastar areas of Madhya Pradesh. All of them, they are sacred groves. But here in Meghalaya, it is said that is the last refuges for a large number of rare and threatened species of plants. Works? So this becomes the answer. This is the wrong, incorrectly matched pair. Rest everything is correct. Next question. All of the following are included in ex situ conservation except. So you have to find something that is not a type of ex situ conservation. Okay, ex situ conservation as in you are taking the organism, putting it elsewhere and conserving them. So there are options which states ex situ conservation. You have to find which is not. Wildlife safari parks, sacred groves, botanical gardens, and then you have seed banks. My dear children, it is sacred groves. Okay, it is what? Sacred groves. Wildlife safari parks is different from wildlife sanctuary. That is totally different. Do not get confused. Okay, wildlife safari parks is where human beings are going around and things like that. So again, it's an ex situ form of conservation. Okay, sacred groves is not. As I said, it is not. There will be organisms who are right over there. We are just preserving an area. Okay, we are not doing anything over there. So this is an in situ conservation. Botanical gardens, again, we are planting plants that we want from different areas. We're taking and bringing. Seed banks, again, it's not. So this becomes your answer. How many questions have come? We see. Now, assertion and reason question. The variation in Rauwolfia growing in different Himalayan ranges might be in terms of potency and concentration of active chemical that the plant produces. So, variation in Rauwolfia as in there are different species of Rauwolfia. Rauwolfia is a plant, okay, and it is having different species, and they are found in Himalayan ranges. And how they are different? It's not the looks and things like that. It's basically the potency and the concentration of the active chemical that they are producing. Probably one type of Rauwolfia might be not producing something that has very high concentration of potency of what? Reserpine. Some other plant of Rauwolfia might be producing something like that. So the variation is coming in what the potency and the concentration of active chemical, that is reserpine. Now the reason is that a single species might show high diversity at genetic level over its distributional range. Yes, a single species, that is exactly the reason. Why? Because it is genetically different, my dear children. They are showing genetic diversity. This thing that is there is genetic diversity, and this genetic diversity is the reason why they are producing different types, or basically having different potency and concentration of the active chemical that they are releasing. So this is an example of genetic diversity, and reason is explaining the assertion. So we say both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of what? The assertion. Cool? Now, assertion says speciation is a function of time, and tropical regions have got a long evolutionary time for species diversification as compared to temperate regions. So speciation, as in the formation of new species and stuff like that, it's a time-taking process. That is what is said over here. It's a time-taking process, and they are also saying the tropical regions, the plants that are there in the tropic, or the organisms that are there in the tropical regions, they have got enough time for speciation to happen as compared to temperate regions. Okay, let's see if it's correct or not. So reason is that temperate regions have undergone frequent glaciations in the past, whereas tropical regions have remained relatively undisturbed for millions of years. So do you think temperate regions have undergone frequent glaciation? Yes, that is true. When something is frequent glaciation is happening, okay, obviously you are changing all the habitat and everything again and again. So there is no time. There is no time for speciation to happen, my dear children. Whereas when you talk about tropical areas, it has remained undisturbed for quite a long time, such that the speciation could happen. So again, the reason is explaining the assertion. That is why tropical regions have got high evolutionary time, why there is too much amount of species diversification in tropical areas. It's because it was relatively undisturbed, my dear children. So again, if both assertion and reason are true, and the reason is a correct explanation of what? Assertion. Got? My dear Chitkus, are you understanding things? I hope you're understanding. Even though this chapter is small, I personally I'm not very fond of this chapter. It's kind of boring. But again, it carries 4 marks. So can you miss it? You cannot miss it. We have to study. 4 marks is also very important. You never know it's important unless you lose 4 marks somewhere. Yes. So question number 10. Dash are the tracts of forest which were set aside and all the trees and wildlife within were venerated and given total protection. Sacred groves. Okay, sacred groves are basically the tracts of forest which were set aside. Next thing, briefly explain the significance of David Tillman's long-term ecosystem experiments using outdoor plots. So David Tillman did his experiments and he came to a conclusion that basically wherever you see biodiversity is more, that's the area where stability is also more. So significance of this is basically you are giving reason why you should be conserving biodiversity, my dear children. So here I have got the answer. David Tillman's long-term ecosystem experiments conducted using outdoor plots are significant in understanding the role of what? Biodiversity in ecosystem functioning. This is the significance. It is helping in why you should be understanding why you should be conserving biodiversity. So first thing, increased biodiversity enhances productivity. He said this ecosystem with species diversity shows greater primary productivity. That means greater production of organic matter. Now, if greater production of organic matter is there, obviously there will be other organisms which could feed on it and then later increase their number also. Yeah. So, as different species utilize resources more efficiently and complement each other, if there are two different organisms, different type of organisms, different species, biodiversity is there. Or if I say there is one plant, there is another plant. If there was only one species of plant and one species of animal, they would be eating this and would be finishing it off. But since we are different, we are not going to feed on the same things. The resource utilization that is there is also different. I would not be preferring to eat a plant just like that. Okay, but a sheep will be. So you see, sheep will be, or a goat will be. It is doing so because we are built different. So increase of biodiversity makes what's a proper utilization of all the different resources such that none of them becomes extinct. Okay, and also basically since all the organisms are different, it will be increasing what? Productivity also. There will be more organic matter available for all the other organisms. Now, stability in ecosystem. Diverse ecosystems are more stable and resilient to disturbance like droughts or pests, maintaining functionality over time. Now, you only see if probably we organisms, all of us were same. So any calamity comes, we all will die. But some, if they are very much resistant to hot temperature and stuff like that, they will survive and they could evolutionize later on and give rise to new organisms, right? So if you have different organisms, if you have variations within you, obviously it will lead to more stability. Okay, now resource utilization. Biodiversity plots utilize nutrients and sunlight more effectively, minimizing wastage and ensuring better ecosystem health. So there is no wastage of anything. All the natural resources are being utilized properly if we have different organisms. So biodiversity, if it is more, it is good for resource utilization. There is no waste going around. There is more productivity. There is more stability as well. So this was the significance of David Tillman's experiment, my dear children. He said the role of biodiversity in maintaining the ecosystem functioning. Okay, got it? So you get 2 marks out of it. Now next thing, mention any 4 or name any 4 recent extinct organism as per IUCN. Okay, IUCN red list. Do you know? I have brought the pictures also of some. Dodo, okay, dodo, thylacine and then quack. All these things are there. Let's see. Dodo is from Mauritius, my dear children. Quack, Africa. Thylacine, Australia. Stellar sea cow, very interesting, Russia. 3 subspecies of tiger, Bali, Java and Caspian. Over here I have picture of dodo. This is what? Dodo, my dear children. This is sculpture. Okay, it had looked like this when it was there, but now it is extinct. It was from Mauritius. This is thylacine. Okay, this is thylacine, which is from Africa, right? Yes, Australia. Okay, it is from Australia. And then this is the stellar sea cow that I was talking about. People used to poach it, like the hunters used to go and kill it, which is why it is not there now. Over exploitation has been taken place. So it is the stellar sea cow, my dear children. Okay, it was in Russia. And then yeah, that's all. That's the pictures I have. So dodo is from Mauritius. Okay, I brought the picture so that you recollect it better. Okay, so you have to just tell the name of 4. You can say dodo. You can talk about thylacine, which is from Australia, stellar sea cow from Russia, and this is easy, right? 3 subspecies of tiger, that's Bali, Java and Caspian. Cool? Chalo. Define biodiversity, write in 2 types of biodiversity. What do you mean by biodiversity? Biodiversity is basically a combination of different type of organisms which are utilizing a particular area. How do you define it better? It refers to the variety of life forms on earth, encompassing the different plants, animals, microorganisms and the ecosystem they form. It includes variation within species, between species of ecosystem as well. That is what is mean by biodiversity. You have genetic biodiversity, you have species diversity. Genetic biodiversity as in it refers to variations of genes within a species. I told about Rauwolfia. There are within a species there are different genetic variations such that there are different plants of Rauwolfia having different potency of the chemical that is racipine that is being produced. So similarly in wheat also we have different varieties of wheat. Why? Because they are genetically different, my dear children. Rice also we have different variety of rice, basmati, this rice, that rice, things like that. Okay. Or the genetic variation among individuals in the tiger population, whatever is there. So genetic diversity refers to what? Variations or diversity within the genes of a particular species. Okay, variations of genes within a species. Example is this. Species diversity as in it refers to variety of species within a particular region. So within a particular region, if I see different variety of species coming together, this is what species diversity. Example, the diversity of species in rainforest, including birds, insects and plants. Cool? So these are the 2 very important types of biodiversity. Chalo. Next, what do you mean by endemism? We already discussed it. Endemism means basically organism probably which is found only in a particular area and not spread out different, not found in other areas. So mention any 2 causes for biodiversity losses. Evil quartet, you remember evil quartet? According to evil quartet, you studied about co-extinction, you studied about over-exploitation. Okay, what else? What else is there? Let's see. Okay, habitat loss and fragmentation. This was the 4th one. So co-extinction is there. Okay, and then you have over-exploitation. Okay, and then you have this thing, that is alien species invasion, and then you have habitat loss and fragmentation. So over here I explained 2 things. So what do you mean by endemism? Species confined to specific region and not found anywhere else. That is what do you mean by endemism. Habitat loss and fragmentation, how does it cause a trouble? Destruction of natural habitat due to deforestation. Okay, for example, when we see a forest, we urbanize it. Okay, we try to make a new building over there and things like that. Basically, while you're doing so, you're removing all the plants. You're removing all the animals which are dependent on the plants. Okay, so basically you are destroying the biodiversity. So that is a huge cause of biodiversity loss, my dear children. So urbanization, agriculture, industrialization reduces the living space for species, leading to what? Extinction. So people have cleared forest for soybean formation and stuff like that. When they are doing so, obviously again a new forest would not be coming over there. Because when plantation and everything happens, you are going to mess around the quality of soil as well. Okay, so that is one thing. So example, clearing of forest for farming has led to loss of many species, that is habitat loss and fragmentation. Now we have over exploitation. What do you mean by that? Excessive use of resources like hunting, fishing and logging depletes population faster than they can recover. So over exploitation obviously again is a big reason. Example, I told you, disappearance of stellar sea cow. It disappeared because people were going and hunting for for basically food or basically the fur and things like that, something like that. Okay, so that was a huge problem. Apart from that, you have alien species invasion and co-extinction also being a reason. They have asked for 2, which is why I have explained just 2. Cool. Now next thing, give any 2 examples of secret groves in India. We already studied, okay, when we was talking about secret groves, you have to learn it as well. Khasi and Jaintia Hills in Meghalaya, Aravalli Hills of Rajasthan, Western Ghats of Karnataka, Sarguja, Chanda and Bastar areas of what? Madhya Pradesh, my dear children. Okay, so you have to remember Khasi and Jaintia, okay, it's not Janatia, it's Jaintia Hills in Meghalaya, Aravalli Hills of Rajasthan, Western Ghats of Karnataka and Sarguja, Chanda and Bastar areas of Madhya Pradesh. Now, 3-marker question starts from here. There are many reasons for conserving biodiversity, obviously, yeah. Briefly explain the reason for conserving biodiversity from the narrowly utilitarian point of view. I told you, according to this, okay, why are we conserving biodiversity? Because biodiversity could be of human good. It will be giving biological products which is needed by the human beings, which is why we should be conserving it. So from a narrowly utilitarian point of view, biodiversity is conserved because of what? It directly benefits humans by providing essential resources and services such as what? Food. It includes plants and animals. Medicine, many medicines are being derived from raw material, so say from the plants and stuff like that, from the organisms which are there, microorganisms, for example penicillin and things like that. Okay, now you have industrial products. Biodiversity provides raw materials for industry including timber, fiber, oils, tannins, everything. Economic value, many species support livelihoods, trade and tourism. Okay, people come to different wildlife sanctuary in different areas because tiger will be there. So isn't it increasing tourism? And when it is doing so, probably you are making a lot of money, and which is why people will continue to do so, continue to preserve so. If there is no tiger, what will they show? You get it? So we should not be like that. Okay, we should not be thinking that since it is useful for us, we should be preserving it. We should be thinking that it's for all. Okay, it's for us, it's for the tigers, it's for the lions, it's for the elephants, everything, this area. Okay, so you have to remember that. In this view, biodiversity is conserved because of its immediate and tangible benefits to what? Human survival and well-being. So narrowly utilitarian point of view says this. There are 2 more. There is broadly utilitarian and there is ethical view also. Okay, go read your NCERT for that. Now, what is ex situ conservation? Mention 2 types. Ex situ conservation as in you are not conserving in their habitat, you are taking them away from their habitat and conserving elsewhere. Okay, 2 type, zoological parks, botanical gardens, seed banks, whatever you want to say, you can say. How do you write it? Ex situ conservation where threatened plants and animals. What children? Threatened plants. We are not randomly conserving anything. You do not see a cat in zoological parks. Any random cat that you normally, wild cat you see, because it's there. It's already there. You do not preserve dogs there. You preserve things which are threatened. Now, some point of time if dogs become threatened or cats become threatened, you will find them also in zoological parks. Okay, so threatened plants and animals are taken from their natural habitat and placed in a special setting where they can be protected and given special care. Protecting threatened species of plants and animals outside its natural habitat, under human care is known as what? Ex situ conservation. Example, zoological parks, botanical gardens, wildlife safari parks, and conservation of gametes by cryopreservation, my dear little children. Cool? Chalo. Next thing. Mention 4 evil quadrate again, which causes depletion of biodiversity. What are the 4 evil quadrates? Let's see. Okay. Habitat loss and fragmentation, we just studied it. Overexploitation, studied it. Alien species invasion, I want to put my information in there. So introduction of non-native species into an ecosystem disrupts the balance and can outcompete and eliminate the native species. Example, water hyacinth or ecornia. As I said, when they were put, what was happening? Basically, they covered the entire area such that the light also could not reach the water bodies inside. So that was a huge problem. Apart from that, you have carrot grass, parthenium. Okay, you have lantana, a lot of things. I have a picture of it. I'll be showing everything. Okay, so please not worry about that. But these are the reasons. Now, co-extinction, when one species become extinct, so dependent species, which are, for example, I'm a plant, I'm getting extincted. That means organism which is dependent on me is also going to get extincted. But it happens only when we have an obligate relationship. Obligate relation as in, you cannot survive without me, I cannot survive without you. Probably I need you for pollination and you need me for laying your eggs. Get it? So these type of plants and pollinators are there, my dear children. Okay, so please remember that. Now, among the vertebrates, which group of animals has the highest number in global biodiversity? I told you it's the fishes which occupy the highest number in the global biodiversity, after which comes birds, my dear children, after which comes reptiles, and then amphibians, and the least is mammals. So fishes. Okay, now this is about vertebrates. If the question comes about invertebrates, what will you say? So in the case of animals, basically they are divided into vertebrates and invertebrates. The one that does not have vertebral column, and the one that has vertebral column at some point of their life. Okay, so basically in invertebrates, okay, both of them are animals. In invertebrates comes insects. Insects are the ones that occupy the highest number in the whole biodiversity in the case of animals, my dear children. So if you combine vertebrates and invertebrates, everything, whatever you do, it will be in insects that will be having the highest amount in the global biodiversity. There's that much amount of species richness is there. So I hope you understood that. Okay. Now next thing. Okay, so over here, as I said, fishes is the one, and okay, again a question related to what? The invasive species. Okay, the alien species invasion thingy. Alien species invasion caused decline or extinction of indigenous as in the local species which are already there. Justify the statement by giving 3 examples. I told you 3 examples. One is carrot grass. I will start from here because we have already studied about this. Carrot grass Parthenium, lantana, and water hyacinth Eichhornia. Okay, all of them, they are going to cause a huge or trouble to the other plants or basically other organisms which are there. I'll show you. Before that, what should I start with? Okay, I'll start with Nile perch only. That will be better. So Nile perch was introduced into Lake Victoria, my dear children. It's in East Africa. And when it was done so, what was happening? There were certain cyclid. I hope I'm not messing up with the spelling. I am. Okay. There were certain fishes like this which got extinct because Nile perch was introduced. Nile perch was introduced because it was increasing the production of fishes and stuff like that. This particular fish also, when it is caught, it was a huge profit for them. Okay, you get it? So, but this guy, when it was introduced, what happened was it was feeding on the cyclid fishes which were there and later caused what? Extinction in their case. Some species of cyclid fishes, basically they got extincted because of these guys which were introduced. So this is the indigenous variety which was there. This is the invasive alien species which has come. Okay, and then this thing that you see is Parthenium, and I'm pretty sure you have seen it. Carrot grass, Parthenium. What it does is that basically the roots of this, okay, they release certain chemicals such that the other plants cannot grow. Okay, they deprive the other plants of nutrition and stuff like that, and also release chemicals which does not allow other plants to grow. So here also they were introduced from outside, okay, and the local species which are there, they are getting affected because of this. After that, you have this guy. You might have seen this, okay, it's there. It's known as lantana. Again, they grow very rapidly. They cover up the whole area such that the small plants which are there, they do not get enough sunlight, nutrition and stuff like that. Again, they are depriving. So this is again a very big problem. Even though they look beautiful when they are in a whole bunch together, they have different colors and stuff like that. If you want to search, it will be really good. Just for making your memory really strong, I thought I will be showing you the photos as well. Otherwise, it's really boring, right? Yes. So lantana is also something that causes trouble to the plants. And you have Eichhornia, this thing, I'm pretty sure you might have seen. If you are in Bangalore, if you go to some lakes and all, you might have seen them towards the corner. Mostly people try to remove it quickly because it spreads so rapidly, my dear children. It has purple color flowers which were introduced because of that. Okay, they were ornamental, but apparently they are not very much ornamentally friendly. So they spread, and when they spread, as you see, they cover the whole area so that the other plants and things like that, they do not get enough sunlight. And also when they die off, what happens? There's too much amount of organic matter and stuff like that. There's too much amount of oxygen requirement to break them down. So it was decreasing the level of oxygen which was there in the water area. And now when oxygen is less, obviously the aquatic organisms which are there, aquatic animals which are there, they won't be able to survive as well. So there was a huge lot of trouble caused by this guy, that is water hyacinth. And you also call it what? Eichhornia. And you also call it terror of Bengal. Also you call it terror of Bengal because it was from there. Okay. So The Nile perch introduced into Lake Victoria in East Africa led eventually to the extinction of an ecologically unique assemblage of more than 200 species of native African cichlid fishes in the lake. Carrot grass, that is Parthenium lantana, and water hyacinth ecornia, again, is something that is alien species that causes a huge lot of trouble for other plants and animals. Now, African catfish, Clarius garipinus, it is garipinus, okay, for aquaculture it was introduced, okay, but it was becoming a threat for the indigenous catfish varieties which were there. So this is African fish, okay, whose name is what? Clarius garipinus. Okay, Clarius garipinus. It was introduced for aquaculture, but what was happening? They were posing a big threat for the indigenous catfishes which were already there, my dear. They competed for resources and stuff like that. And when you have a competitively superior organisms, obviously the inferior ones, they move out. Right. So these were the things that you had to remember from this particular chapter. Anything else? I think this is the last question, and with this we are completing our chapters from biology, my dear children. I want you to go through the Brahmastra series really carefully, pay full attention to it, watch it fully. I know it might be long, initial chapters could have been long because they carry a lot of marks, that is 13 marks. It's not a small deal, right? So invest your time, put it in 2x speed and listen to it, but listen to it, it's really important. You will be scoring really good, that's my guarantee, I'm pretty sure of that. Okay, and also as I always say, once you're done with this particular session, what you can do is, you have the zeal, you can go read your NCERT one, start with the summary of the chapter and then go read the whole chapter. It will help you understand a lot of things much more better. And with this we are completing, and do not forget to subscribe to our little channel, that is Diksha Karnataka, and do not forget to show us your love in the comment section. Bye bye, take care.